we are going to turn the time over to her. So whenever you're ready, Alyssa.
Very cool. Hey everyone, thank you for coming to my presentation today. Today I'm going to be talking about developing tools and processes for empowering different stages of film production. So who am I? I'm a creative technologies and communications major with a concentration in filmmaking. And I'm also a show producer at Fusion, where I help oversee short films, podcasts, and TV shows. So going back to like my portfolio theme, developing tools and processes for empowering stages of film production. So throughout my time at Barry, I've learned about all the different stages that go into making a short film or a film in general. And budgets are skyrocketing every day for, especially in Atlanta, things are getting more expensive to make. And so I was thinking, how would it be more accessible for anybody to make a film themselves? So I was connecting both majors for this, and I've used this knowledge I've learned over these past 3.5 years to adapt the process and make it easier to complete for anybody. And so we'll see like different stages like marketing, the actual like, filmmaking process, and like scheduling, but then also like putting it all together and like forming a like short film itself. So this is marketing and advertising. So one of the biggest or most important things about having a short film is being able to put it forward. You know, you want people to like see it and like show it off in a nice way. And so I took a digital imaging class here at Barry, which counts as elective for CRT. And I will say I loved this show definitely, but their advertising posters were not very good. So I was like, I wonder what I could take from this show and actually like put it off better for advertising. And so I researched different poster techniques and styles over the semester, and I used Procreate, which is like $10, it's a set fee, instead of Adobe Suites, which as students we get, but once you leave college, it's $20 or more a month, which is very expensive when you're living on student loans. So I was trying to make it inexpensive, but also effective. So you can see here, I modeled different like posters that I could have done, and I got some feedback from people in the class about, you know, what they would like to see more for posters. These are the 2 reference photos that I took from one of the most important scenes from the TV show, and then here's me on my iPad actually drawing it like on Procreate, and so you use like different layers and shadowing brushes. And fun fact, I actually got featured in the Student Honors Award show at the Moon Gallery. It's still up if you want to see it. And so, as we can see, it is effective, and you know, it was able to go into that show, so people enjoyed it as well. And I only use Procreate, not Adobe Suite, which is like the standard right now in the industry. And so, it's also kind of like led me to using Procreate for other things. So like, learning from my entrepreneurship class and things, I've been able to start my own business and use Procreate to like design different mugs, as you can see here. So it's helped not only during the class, but also after with using this kind of new technology and software. So for the filming aspect of it, for physical computing, I made this track, which more and more people are using their phones now instead of actual like film cameras to make productions, just because Apple is coming out with such great lenses now, and it's also cheaper, essentially. And so I was wondering, for Fusion, we have about 5 people at a time on set, which there are a lot more jobs in that. So normally it would take on like more than one job title at a time. And so I was like, how would I be able to help lessen the load on each person on a set, especially a smaller crew like it is at Fusion? And so I made this camera track. And so what happens is if you press a button right here, then the track will move down the line and the phone will actually angle it so it stays on a certain focal point in the middle. And so that like, instead of having someone actually hold the camera and like, you know, make sure to like track and everything, all you do is press a button now, which helps, you know, lessen the load for the camera operator on set. And so in order to do this, I used the Arduino programming, and it took a lot of math and angling. And so Zay and I were kind of talking about how, you know, a math person may not be able to fully understand like the film angles that go into it. But since I came into this project with like film background and with CRT stuff, I was able to figure out like how the camera should move specifically. And here's my Arduino like actual like hardware. And then I use Fusion 360 as well to fit the phone in there because it is such like a unique shape and size, and so I made sure that it like fit in like snugly so that it wouldn't shake as much. And so I have some videos of it moving, and you'll get to see Huck will make a little guest appearance if he remembers. So here's how it looks like on the outside. So I just press the button. And so if someone is walking, or even if you have an object in front of it, then it will stay on it at all times. And so here's the video that it captured at that same time. So yes, it is a little shaky in the future. If I were to like adapt it, I would include more like stability, but it did do what I wanted it to do, which is to track a person and stay on the subject. Oops. And so I was able to be the screenwriter and director for Reality Check, which is a limited series at Fusion. And this is, it was 4 episodes, which can get very complicated because we can only like film on the weekends. And essentially we only filmed 2 weekends for this project. And so I was like, how do I maximize the amount of time that we have and make sure that we stay on schedule and organized? And so what I did was I made sure to make a props list, shot list, and like filming schedule. And so I used a combination of like Google Docs and Word and Final Draft softwares in order to like help this go smoothly and avoid like continuity mistakes, you know, like especially for props, because you know, we don't want a little like Game of Thrones moment where there's a coffee cup, you know, just randomly appearing in the middle of a scene. And so here's just kind of like, this right here is our call sheet. And so we would put in specifically like the times that each person had to be there and where they were supposed to be. Might see a little recognizable person right there. But, and here's like our little shot list that I made. And so it says specifically, okay, for this episode in this scene, here's like our shot number and where it is, what kind of shot it is. So it's like a wide shot, and then, you know, a low to high angle and what the shot looks like. Just like we know, like, oh yeah, this is a specific shot, we need to make sure to get this and to move on, just so there was less confusion during set. And then here is the script that I wrote, just to kind of like connect of like how it looks on script versus the sheets. And here's like the props list that I made. So it'd be like, you know, for episode 1, scene 2, we need, you know, backpacks, notebooks, and pencils, that kind of thing, just to keep track of all the things we needed to make sure that we had it. And so this like actually helped us stay, you know, on time, even like finish early most days. So we were able to prioritize the time. And you might be like, how's this connect to CRT? Well, we learned a lot about project management in these classes and how to stay organized during the process. And so being able to use that knowledge and, you know, insert it into the software specifically and make things easier on set was what I took from it. And it ended up paying off in the long run because we did win a bunch of awards at our comm department this semester for basically all the things that I made lists for, which is very exciting. So then I used all this knowledge I've learned over these past couple of years, and I put it all into one big project. This was my senior capstone called Behind the Lens. Some of you saw last night, which thank you for coming. And so for this, I used a variety of things. Like for marketing, I used Canva. I used Final Draft again for screenwriting, which I forgot to mention is like a discounted screenwriting program. And then Adobe Audition and Premiere Pro, which is for students. And essentially, I was able to prove that you don't need a large crew in order to make something that is, you know, high quality or impactful for people. This was me, like just me, so it was like essentially a one-woman show. and it ended up being about 23 minutes, which is pretty long. But so I interviewed 5 young women in the film industry. So this is Alyssa Johnson, who's a costumer on sets. And then here's me using Premiere Pro in order to edit it. And here's like a marketing poster that I made with Canva. And people came up to me and actually said they really enjoyed this poster. And they were like, how'd you do this on Illustrator? I was like, actually, I used Canva. And a lot of people use that in the industry. So it was really exciting to hear that from others. Like, oh yeah, they think it's high quality, but actually I just use a free program online. And it brought a lot of people to the event, I think. And so here is us at the showing last night. We had a large crowd come, and here's this feedback that I got. It's a form that I sent out to everybody who came in order to, see, okay, what kind of impact did it have on people? What kind of questions do they have? What should I change essentially for the future if I were to do this again? And if you're wondering, I wasn't able to come to the event. How can I see this? There's a wonderful QR code right here, and it's also on Discord. So I would really appreciate it if you had the time to see it. And so just being able to use all this knowledge essentially that I've learned over the years, without that knowledge, I would not have been able to do this. I was able to condense, jobs into very specific, programs and, things like that software in order to make this, just one person can make it. And so that just shows that anybody can make film. And so where am I going? My summer plans right now, I'm taking an AI intro class at KSU. And also in my free time, I'll be learning to use Unreal Engine because they do use that for special effects for films right now. And so I'd love to delve more into it and understand how that works. And I know this is a senior capstone presentation, but I'm graduating early, so I still have 1 semester to go. And so next semester I'll be working at By Confusion again as a show producer. And I got greenlit for another season of Martha's Mysteries, which is a podcast that I've been working on for the past 2 years. And also essentially a short film or limited series again. And after graduation, I hope to work on a film crew. Normally people start out as a PA, a production assistant, and work their way up. And so hopefully by doing that, I'll be able to get connections and essentially work in the writer's room, because that's where I think I want to go, is screenwriting. So thank you.